All right, now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind, but we're going to have a show.
What's up, party people? It's our Big Friday show. Albert, will you please play my Captain Kangaroo music if you've got it? The captain is in the house. Captain on the bridge. That's right.
Lay it on the line for you and your boss, whoever.
Mark Thompson here. This is the Big Mark Thompson Show for Friday. We have the full complement of segments today on this wintry day. Spencer Christian joins us. He'll be here in just a few moments to update all the weather news, but also it's bizarre. The low snow level has produced snow at very low levels. So we'll review some of that. We've got some picks for you as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. Kim McAllister, everyone, please. Yeah, a round of applause for the lovely Kim. And Kim is here with you.
How are you?
She's here with news and commentary and presence. Always welcome. And of course, Albert,
thank you.
is on board as well. Friday Fabulous Florida, bottom of the hour, brings back John Daly, who should join us for that as well. And it's a pretty solid Florida offering. Michael Shore at 11 o'clock will review on this anniversary of the start of the Ukraine-Russia war. We'll review America's involvement and the world's disposition toward involvement in this entire conflict, which clearly is going to go on for a while, it would seem. I was talking to my friend who's Ukrainian, Dmitry is his name. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was remarking on certain aspects of the conflict and about what's going on in Russia internally and about Putin, and I can share those with you in the next hour. But we'll get to all of that. Buttigieg, of course, having visited East Palestine. Again, we'll talk about all of those things with Michael Shore. A lot of that soil I think we've tilled on this show before, but as the character of all of those issues changes, we will till the soil again, and I think find some different stuff as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. We're almost there at 10,000 subscriptions. So awesome. It's pretty.
What?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it either.
I do have a point of order in the Mark Thompson Show proceedings.
Yes,
moments ago,
Alice, please. Yeah.
I get a text from former super producer John Daly saying that he will not be able to join us today.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that we corrected that. I don't know why he couldn't.
He says, tell Mark that I can't join, wishing you the methiest of stories.
Yes, let's hope for some meth stories.
You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
I don't know. I'm counting on something.
I know. It's disappointing. It really is.
An apology would have been nice, in the manner of the show,
There is no defense for my conduct.
Exactly. Something along those lines. Or what were the other one? It was wrong.
It was wrong. It was stupid, and I'm trying to be better.
Yeah, just say you're going to be able to make it. And then have to. To be fair, I don't think he said he was going to make it. I think he said, I'll try to be there or something like that. Tom is on board. I blame John Daly. Very well done. Yeah. Anyway, John will not be here. So, look, snow has descended on California. This is a real wintry blast. Run that piece from KTVU real quick, will you, Albert? Because here's just what's happening in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Good morning. I'm Pam Cook. Friday morning, February 24th. We're getting some new video, a lot of photos of the snow from overnight. This is the look at the conditions on Highway 17 from overnight. Honestly, looks like the drive up to Tahoe. Look at the amount of snow there on the side of the road. CHP Santa Cruz just posted this video on its Twitter page. This is right near the summit.
What?
Barely make out the summit road exit sign as the CHP vehicle drives by right there on Highway 17. As you can tell, a lot of snow on the road. Just one lane of the highway appears to be cleared enough to drive. So a good place to avoid.
Indeed.
That's a lot of snow.
I told you, it's never easy being in this business.
Already,
it really is.
Avoid? What do you mean avoid? I'm headed right there.
It is pretty wild. I mean, that could be like a scene out of New England or something.
So I put out the call on the chat room this morning. If you've got any snow pictures from your area, send them to me. And I hit the jackpot. You want to go through some listener photos?
Meantime, let me just ask Albert, did you send Spencer the link?
I did.
Oh, you did. Thank you then. Okay.
Albert, thank you.
All right, go ahead then, Kim, please.
Okay, so this one is from Tom. You can see the slight snow dusting up on the top of Mount Tamalpais. This is a picture taken by Tom from Kentfield looking toward Mount Tam.
That's pretty, I think.
Really pretty. Yeah, exciting to wake up and look up at the mountain and see that. Maud sent me this picture. This is her niece's backyard in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Wow. These Santa Cruz mountain pictures are insane.
Yeah.
That looks like it could be a snowy vista out of New England or something.
Beautiful. Lulu is in Mendocino County.
Lulu!
Lulu! Here's what she's looking at. And she said, look at an animal made tracks in the snow. And she doesn't know what kind, but something was walking around back there overnight.
That is a little bit of a mystery.
Look at that really cool, like huge daybed.
That's a great picture. I mean, she just took a pic. If you're not watching on YouTube, maybe check it out. I think it's really interesting how you just take a picture at the window and it looks almost like a piece of art. I mean, you could take that pic and throw a frame around it and all of a sudden it becomes something to behold. I think it's a really neat pic. And you're right. It's because of those. There are two sets of tracks, maybe. There's one set in the foreground. And then, is that a creek that's running or some kind of running water in the
some type of ravine or ditch or something? Yeah.
Anyway, that's really great. Thanks, Lulu.
Yeah. And then Lulu, by the way, her power went out. And so she was quite resourceful in making tea over a candle.
Wow. Lulu's got a whole thing
right
going on there. That is really cool.
I mean, it looks like she used a drying cake rack. That's a cake rack where you would, put your cookies or your cake to cool, a cooling rack. But she's got her candle in the cake rack and she's got her tea up. Your resourcefulness is impressive.
We're all looking for a candle in our cake rack, everybody. What's I'm sorry. I'm just saying it speaks to a lot of us.
What?
I can't see the snow in this one. This is a picture from Laura in Los Gatos. I think you can kind of see it on the hills there in the background.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is a picture from Boulder Creek. Look at the kids making a snowman.
Oh, that's great.
Is that awesome? Oh. Yeah, that is from
that's a legit
Hawkins.
Going on.
Hawkins and Boulder Creek. Hawkins.
Thank you very much, Hawkins. Wow.
And I have one more. This is on the beach in Fort Bragg, California. I love how our listeners are all over the place. Viewers, listeners, what have you. All over the place. This is from Weird Bulb. Snow on the beach in Fort Bragg.
Wow. That is just the best.
I just got one more.
Snow on the beach is pretty terrific, I have to say. It's hard to beat, right?
It really is. Yeah. It's
for a California scene.
Yeah, I love that picture. And then I just got one more. I'm trying to add it in. This is from Janet, and she's looking at Mission Peak in Fremont. Look at that.
That is a terrific picture of snow-capped mountains.
Thanks,
wow.
Janet. Thanks, everyone, for all the messages and the emails. If you scroll back earlier in the chat, I put my email address in. So if you have a picture that you want to send or video or what have you, shoot me a message and we'll kind of, I'll use them during the news. We'll put them up during the show, what have you. So
yeah,
for all the contributions and showing us what you're looking at. So cool.
Make it happen. I love it. Those are great pictures. Thank you all. I want to thank all of you.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of thank yous. Oh, yes, we do.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you.
Yeah.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Love all the snowmen and all of the various snow frolicking, but it is tricky. There are blizzard warnings in the mountains north of Los Angeles today. By the way, Spencer Christian from ABC7 is joining us. Albert, I just resent him the links because I don't know if you saw, he said he didn't get the link or it's not letting him in.
I also sent him a link, so he's just gonna have to pick from all the links.
So he's got all the links we sent him. They should all go to the same place, but you'll monitor that situation for me, won't you?
Yep, I'm on it. I'll call him.
All right. So he had to do a we had him. He's really generous with this show.
Yeah.
We had him scheduled for right off the top of the show. And he called me this morning and said, "Hey, they've got me scheduled for the top of the show on the morning show, on the the special they're doing on the snow there at ABC 7."
You mean his paying job? Oh yeah, that one.
Said, well, did you tell them they're just going to have to wait? So that's why we're kind of vectoring him in now in a different way. This is historic snowfall, they're saying. This is very unusual weather, but historic weather. Central Coast, North Bay, we've shown you some pictures, South Bay, Highway 17, the closures there. It's really tricky to get into Tahoe. Probably shouldn't make that trip. 1 to 2 inches on Mount Tam. We showed you that. So these are just, again, some of the snow totals. Mount Tam is there right in Marin for those who are listening from elsewhere. The Santa Cruz Mountains, even Cloverdale, typically getting at least a dusting of snow normally, but this is well in excess of what is typical, and they say it's definitely a rare winter event. The winds, I feel like those were some of the toughest aspects of this storm, it's now been a couple of days since we've seen the winds. Now this is as I say, the rain and the snow. But snow down to 250 feet. Wow.
I was really hoping I'd wake up and there would be snow on my front lawn. I was sitting in the car last night when the hail started pelting my car. And so there was some, leftover icy looking slush on the windshield and all over the ground. But that's not snow. I mean, that's not really where
it's the first pictures you get of stuff. Is usually hail. And people go, look. Yeah, it's hail. It's not
snow. Was locking up the house last night, looked out the door, and there was a skunk frolicking in the rain on my lawn.
That is a beautiful sight.
I tried to get a picture through the glass, but
there's never been anything like it.
Nobody has ever put something like this together that I've ever seen. We've never seen anything like it before.
Well, I mean,
there is nothing in our history that quite compares
to this. Yeah, it's true. And when it comes to the weather in California right now,
have you ever seen anything like this?
No, I'm saying I haven't really seen too much like it. Is the truth. Thank you for catching that, John. Dottie saw it too. There's never been anything like it.
I have never heard of something like that.
Okay. Didn't we get one yesterday, Albert? We've got to pull that from Maggie Haberman, where she says about the juror who's so chatty, the grand juror doing that media tour on the Trump Georgia election trial. And she says, I've been covering trials for 30 years and I've never seen anything like this. We need that one. We need to pull that. So we're trying to get Spencer vectored in. I don't know what's happening. Oh, wow. He's having problems. This is wild. Well, Albert's involved in the effort to try to get him. We send a link out, and then he's got to connect through the link. So that's the process. But
we have processes and protocols and standards.
Yeah, we do.
I didn't realize it, but apparently it was the snow photos have now reached contest realm. SF Tesla saying, I vote for the one with the paw prints. The person was paying attention to Jefferson Graham and worked on composition.
Yes, we don't mean to throw anybody into a competitive situation.
I mean,
trying to throw in pictures that they've registered. They're literally it's a point and shoot situation. That said, apparently there is a competition underway. So,
right.
Here's a guy without cheer, and that's Andreas. Thank you for saying hi. Hi, Mark. Andreas with a $10 support of the show. I got to tell you, we're a crowdfunded show, and here while we wait for Spencer for just a minute, I'll just tell you that you who regularly contribute to the show mean so much to keep it. But all of you, even who just are occasional visitors who throw something into the pot, it all helps. But Andreas, thank you very much for being sort of the squad leader on this stuff. Really,
Can I mention, since you talked about being crowdfunded, that our exclusivity and sponsorship is changing a bit. So if you have a business, or if you would like to sponsor a newscast, sponsor a half hour of the show, whatever it may be, please give us a call or email us. We'd love to help you promote your business or talk about whatever you want to talk about here as well. It is the Mark Thompson Show at gmail.com. You can email us there and talk about sponsorship opportunities. Yay.
Yeah, that's right. It's really all email, so you'll have to deal with us that way, but it's themarkthompsonshow at gmail.com. And by the way, that's a great email address anyway. We never really give it out much, but if you're trying to reach the show, maybe you have a story idea, something like that, a comment on something, themarkthompsonshow.com. And I might mention also that all of the comments that are left in replay, I look at all of those comments. So if you say, well, I have a thought on that. Somebody left a thought in replay about Jimmy Carter, and it actually got me to go back and do some reading about specific things and administrative aspects of the Carter administration. That was a replay viewer who left a comment. So your comments are appreciated, either live chat or in replay. And of course, the likes, we love that.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
I guess we're hitting a logjam on getting Spencer on the air. So
Andreas,
like his ABC computers aren't allowing him to join. So
can he join via his phone, or maybe
that's our last ditch effort. We're working on it right now.
All right.
Andreas kicking in another $20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andreas, thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly. That was the essence of what I was saying.
Well, I love
it. And a big shout out.
Big shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Christian and all, but you are a weatherman. You have the certificate.
Yeah.
So I feel like, we could just do this without him. It's totally okay.
Well, I first of all like the attitude
skills.
because I've been forced into, as you know, a competitive situation with Spencer. Didn't want it. So I like that you say we can do it without him.
Yeah.
It's music to my ears, actually, when you
right?
say that. But he's kind of
No.
He is, when it comes to weather, he's still wearing the uniform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like he's still the guy who should land the plane.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who made a career as a pilot, but with the captain, still wearing the uniform. I want him to come to and take us in. So we'll see.
We do have a request. No cars for kids spots. They don't want that. We hear you. I feel confident in making a no cars for kids pledge, right?
Yeah. I will make the no cars for kids pledge, but I will tell you this. We're so desperate to meet payroll every month that if Cars for Kids called,
I
might. I'm just saying.
Oh, Andreas, love you.
Wow. Smash that weather rod so Nikki and her family comes back safely.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
What's the story with Nikki's family? Are they on a road trip?
It's her daughter's 14th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And, they've been through some health scares issues recently.
Yeah.
So she really wanted to do what her daughter wished to make her happy, despite the fact that the weather is not conducive for this type of road trip to Magic Mountain in Southern California. So I think they're going to end up going to Universal Studios in Southern California.
The weather is really rainy in Southern California right now.
But she probably had a hell of a time on the Grapevine yesterday.
Oh my God. Man, that family has been challenged, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? For your birthday, we're going to take you anywhere you want to go. Well, I want to go. Where does she want to go first?
Well, her wish was Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
But I think they close it in the rain.
They close it in the rain. All right, forget about it.
They were zeroing in on Universal Studios.
What's your second best? Mom, I really want to go to Universal Studios. Okay, we're going to go. You'll pile in the car. Wait a minute. What? The Grapevine's closed? Oh, I mean, it really is like.
Oh yeah,
they're in
Eric is
shape.
reminding me. They ended up not going the Grapevine. They took the coastal route. So.
Oh, smart route. Smart route. Nikki is a real, she's a player. So I don't need to worry too much about her somehow.
I got a ding word from Tom.
Conducive, he says, is a ding word. All right.
Sweet. Thanks, Tom.
All right. So I would wait for Spencer on this, but essentially, I don't think I can wait for him anymore right now. But if he jumps on, we'll certainly have him on. I wonder if we can. I just heard a replay of Mark on KFI. There's a new Mario World at Universal Studios. That's right, Eric. Yeah, I was on KFI. I'm going to be on KFI again Sunday afternoon, Pacific time, 3 to 5, I guess.
Do you like that station? Are they nice there?
They're very nice to me. I like it. I like it. I think it's kind of like family. It's a really, it's like KGO was. I mean, I love KGO, So I really like KFI. I mean, the Greek rod becomes, is that right? March 3rd is your birthday?
Oh, wow. It's coming up.
Andrea.
Right. With your iron rod.
Smash it. We'll do a special smash on March 3rd, Andreas. Candace Worthman for $19.99.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
Thank you, Candace. Big shout out.
Shout out.
Yes. And I'm not going to cry, Candace, because it's a wintry mix. I don't like to cry. My tears freeze on my cheeks.
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
But
I'm putting all the donations up or the contributions up because I just appreciate it, and we might as well because
we need
the help and the love, and I'm so thankful.
We should put the donations up during the show, but then we'll make a special recognition. Albert now is trying to get Spencer on, so that's what's happening with that. They're trying to punch holes in the Murdoch testimony. This Alex Murdoch, is that how he says his last name?
Yeah.
The South Carolina lawyer cross-examined. He's now on the stand himself. He is the defendant. And his family, Courtney was reminding me, his family runs that part of the world. They are like a legacy family of the sort that we can almost not imagine.
Yeah.
It would be like, I don't know what the equivalent is, in the Bay Area or in California. The Gettys maybe, but not even. Because in the South, it's a good old boy world, and all that legacy stuff matters much more, I think.
I was kind of wondering why this story has gained such national attention.
Do you have the answer, or are you just wondering?
No, I was just wondering. I mean, it's top of news all over the place, and it's compelling, but it's horrible that his wife and son have died, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because they're like the pillars of the community style people. I don't know.
Karen Q shares a birthday with Andreas 3-3. Honor, she says. I agree with you, Kim, but I will also say this. I'm with you. I don't understand it. But, I'm not into the murder stuff. Courtney loves it. Fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't land for me. It's like the thing I just... So you're right. But let me tell you, just to your point, I was invited to a lunch yesterday. As you might imagine, I get invited to a lot of different things.
Do you know who I am?
Yes.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Exactly. So I am asked to make appearances in a lot of places. And everybody, as they walked in the door, gravitated toward the television set where the Murdoch trial was on.
Really?
Everybody. It was unbelievable. I'm standing there, back there, talking to one of the hosts, utterly ignoring it. But I was the only one not watching it. They were like moths to flame to watch that trial.
So I get these news summaries, and I kind of use them to look at what I want to include in a newscast or not. And I have been on purpose pulling the Murdoch story out because I haven't been really talking about it. I thought, well, this isn't, if I was going to get 1 or 2 newscasts a day, would this be, if I only have a certain amount of time, would this be a story that I would want? And I was thinking no, but maybe I've been remiss.
I think, honestly, it's of enough general interest that you may want to start including it. It's just, apparently, it's captured a lot of people. There's, I don't know the reason, but he does. What the Kathy is saying that the defendant Alex Murdoch cries all the time. He does. I've seen him on the witness stand. Yeah, and it's true. He was a prosecutor, and his family is wealthy, and they're a part of town history. That's absolutely true. And that's what I was talking about in the South. That kind of legacy presence when a family over generations has a presence and control of an area. These wealthy Southern families where the Justice of the Peace is a Murdoch, and the owner of the buildings where everybody shops, they're Murdochs, and there's Murdoch Square, and the judge is a Murdoch, and his father was a judge. And
is that close to Mark Thompson Terrace? No.
No, we would not have Mark Thompson Terrace anywhere. I would not have it in South Carolina. He's crying because he got caught. Yeah, probably that may be. Anyway, he's his own. He's putting up his own defense, and he's on the stand as part of that defense. He's got incredible lawyers, and he himself, I think, thinks himself an incredible lawyer. And his pattern of lies has been pretty well established. I mean, he's defrauded people. He's lied in any number of ways, even regarding this case. He lied about his presence. He lied about dates, what he was doing. He lied about what he was wearing. He lied about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's saying essentially that those lies were because of drug addiction, and his addictions essentially forced him to being less truthful than he would be. Do
you think that's an excuse? Addictions is an excuse?
Right, it's definitely an explanation at times. It can be.
Yeah.
This is the point Vilma makes it, and I think it's a good one. Murdoch is definitely an embezzler, but is he a killer? That's the question. And that's what he's trying to tee up as the question. He's saying, look, I get it. I'm not a good guy. You probably don't want to do business with me. You don't want me as a babysitter or whatever. I get it. I'm going to fail the job interview, but I didn't kill my wife and kid. It would appear that, and this is a point as well. Al Anonymous is saying, not all addicts are killers and not all killers are addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course. But it does provide sometimes a hook on which to hang an excuse, So, all right. Friday Fabulous Florida next. Then we'll get into a look back at the week with Michael Shore. It's the 1-year anniversary of the incursion into Ukraine by the Russian military. I'll also relate to you the conversation I had with my Ukrainian friend, Dmitry, who's been pretty right on about a lot of things. So I don't know. It won't take long. He has got a couple of quick thoughts, and I'll pass them on to you. And also the big news that Donald Trump will be deposed. This is not in the Georgia case now. This is in another case involving 2 FBI agents who he defamed, allegedly. So we'll get to all of that. Smash the like button like a boss.
Smash it with your iron rod.
Clark Reed. Remember Clark Reed from KGO?
Yeah, he's going to be on with me on Nikki's show later today.
Oh, Clark Reed SF. Did the one-armed man from The Fugitive kill his wife and kid? Sorry, but motive and opportunity. Yes. And Tom, incursion is a ding word, he says. All right, well, there you go. All right, we're up to speed. Let's get on it. Mark Thompson Show.
The Mark Thompson Show.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. Got another picture to show you guys. This is the Anderson Valley where, pardon me, it snowed overnight. Alan sent us this picture. Look at that. Lots of snowy pictures coming in to the Mark Thompson Show right now. Looks like we're going to see even more snow. That is the story. Looks like up to 12 inches expected to fall before noon. A winter weather advisory in effect since last night for hills and mountains. Not the only threat today, though. Another storm bringing the coldest temperatures of the season. Some areas only getting into the 40s. On top of that, you can brace for high winds until about 4 p.m. likely to knock down trees and cause more power outages, specifically around the Bay Area. And hold on for a second, because unfortunately, I have to cough.
Oh, no. Well,
I know. I don't know why.
Go ahead. Take a good cough. Take a couple of coughs. Take a little glass of water if that's what you need. I mean,
okay.
No
okay. I'm back. We were just talking about this fella. This is prosecutors in the double murder trial of South Carolina attorney Alex Murdoch, zeroing in now on the night his wife and son were killed. Testifying for the second day, Murdoch denied the series of calls he made shortly after the murders was any kind of an attempt to create an alibi. The once prominent lawyer, worth more than $1 million, admitted lying to police, stealing money from clients, and being addicted to drugs, but repeatedly denying any role in these murders in a case that's really gripping the country. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says more work does need to be done in order to bring down inflation. But Yellen said the U.S. economy is fundamentally in good shape. Her remarks coming as new government reports reveal inflation remains stubbornly high. The family of a young Wisconsin man says he died while fighting in Ukraine. This is the family of Andrew Peters. His parents said he felt that he needed to use his military skills as a U.S. Army veteran to help the people of Ukraine. Today marks 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. It's just obviously a story we continue to talk about.
Well, it could, I mean, it's just a conflict that can escalate so quickly. It could easily spill over into NATO countries. Then you're in a tough situation because of the obligations to defend. Not to mention, Russia is so nuclear capable, and now saber rattling with that nuclear capability as part of that saber rattle. It's a scary situation.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about the train. Also a scary situation, right? The White House says President Biden received an update on the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The president hearing from many top officials, including Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. He visited the area yesterday after being criticized for not going there sooner. And while he was there, he called for stricter rail regulations. So it turns out if you're one of those people that has a hard time with sleep, I don't like this story. But researchers say people who struggle with sleep are more likely to have a heart attack. A new study published in the journal Clinical Cardiology found a link between insomnia and heart attack risk. Those with insomnia were almost twice as likely to suffer a heart attack. Let's get on to some better news because
no, that's not good. I agree. I was looking for more details.
No, that's all I got for you.
Well, where did that study come from? And I don't know.
You can find more on that study in the journal Clinical Cardiology.
No, okay.
Strip club in Massachusetts.
I deserve that. Yeah,
We're on to strippers, Mark. Strippers in a blow, okay? If that doesn't give you a heart attack, nothing will. There's a strip club in Massachusetts looking to become the nation's first topless cannabis dispensary.
Make sure you get a good night's sleep before you go.
The owners of Club Castaway in Whatley, North Springfield, recently presented a plan to transition to new business models over the next year by removing dancing and alcohol, but keeping nudity, and then introducing cannabis dispensing.
Where are my weed smokers? Is anybody
bit of weed? Oh, sorry.
I don't know what they're doing. I mean,
sorry.
Yeah. Naked pot dancing, I guess, is what we're doing in Massachusetts. Sweet. Yeah. Okay, great. This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, check out Steve Moskowitz. You can see the information at the bottom of the screen. Tickle it. 888-TAX-STEAL. Also, MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Mark Thompson Show.
They had to close down an entire radio station to silence him. And now, he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Thompson.
I've told you, it's never easy being in this business.
The Mark Thompson Show.
What up, everybody? What up, what up, what up? Glad you could be with us. Our big Friday show. Michael Snyder will be here at the end of the show. We'll talk movies. I saw a film that Michael recommended. I saw it last night.
Was it Cocaine Bear? Because I know that's one of the
Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is a movie that he will be reviewing today. So all of you Cocaine Bear people.
I wonder what that movie's going to be about.
I saw a different film last night that I'll discuss it when Michael. I'm trying to see all the Oscar movies, and then along the way, doubling back and trying to catch some movies that Michael liked along the way. Sometimes he likes the sophisticated, cool. That's the great thing about Snyder. He can do the Marvel movies and the DC universe. He's a comic book, nerd in such a big way. And then he's also the sophisticate who, found some Danish film that, is an indie thing that was made by a director that, first-time director. Michael's got and he's music too. That's why he's called the Culture Blaster. All right, so here's just a quick update. We'll get it from Albert. I believe Spencer Christian will join us Monday now, right? There's Cocaine Bear, yeah. All right.
Yeah, he'll be with us on Monday. So
okay, he couldn't get the signal out of the ABC7. Something was weird. What was the story there?
Yeah, so he actually came into the studios to record, obviously, but his real job. So he'll be back at home on Monday, and everything will be fine.
All right. Okay.
We'll do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Okay, it'll happen live on Monday, and of course Monday I won't be here. Kim will be here. I got to go back to the East Coast to see my father, who is rallying a little bit. It's a tough time for sure. Yeah, so maybe something good happens. So I'll be gone probably Monday, probably Tuesday. Definitely Monday, probably Tuesday. All right, we like to do it on Fridays. It is a chance for you, for me, for Kim, for Albert, for all of us to luxuriate in the weirdness of a troubled place. I mean, I understand that we in California, we have our issues. But Florida never disappoints with their issues. This is Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
Let's go to McDonald's, everybody. McDonald's, always a favorite. McDonald's is the site of our first Florida story because somebody got angry at McDonald's.
Not again.
Yes, it happens, Kim. They go to the Golden Arches, McDee's, with an expectation of fine service. They go there with an expectation of delicious food. And sometimes those expectations are not met. And when they're not met, oftentimes people react in extraordinary ways, particularly within Florida. An irate Florida woman pointing a loaded gun at a terrified McDonald's staffer.
What?
This is a dispute over a free cookie.
Oh, stop it.
Yes. Well, I mean,
we have processes and protocols and standards.
Yes. Where's my free cookie? I thought that's part of the process, protocol, and standard. Amari Hendricks is her name, 24 years old. She was in the drive-thru of an Alamonte Springs McDonald's when she began arguing with an employee about her right to a complimentary cookie. The staffer eventually handed over the baked treat to appease Hendricks, but the gesture did little to calm the situation. The argument continued.
Why are you yelling?
Police said she pulled out a black handgun, inserted a magazine, racked the slide, and pointed the firearm at the drive-thru worker.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
She pulled out a black handgun, she inserted a magazine, racked the slide, pointed the firearm at a drive-thru worker. The abrupt escalation startled staffers. They retreated into the restaurant's interior and attempted to lock the front door. But Hendricks was able to get inside, Kim. She wasn't done.
No.
She assaulted this guy who was the worker, scratched his face and neck. A colleague then called 911 and cops arrived. Initially, The woman with the gun refused to comply with officers' demands. Eventually, though, she was taken into custody. This all started over a complimentary cookie.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, how angry do you have to be? Wow.
To pull a gun over a cookie.
This is a man with anger. This is a man that has resentment towards you.
She got the cookie, but she wasn't finished. She was so angry that she wanted to get into...
Can you let him finish, sir?
She wanted to get into the restaurant to get some retribution or something. I don't know what it was about. What's your problem at that point?
Are you mad that you had to ask for the cookie? You didn't get the cookie in a timely fashion?
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
Well, that may be too. A Florida man is found to be breathing. That in itself is no big story. The thing here is he was already declared dead by medics. 2 paramedics with the Clearwater Fire and Rescue Department were suspended after a man they pronounced dead was found to be breathing.
Oh, that's when you know you're bad at your job.
My bad. I'm sorry.
The agency said 2 medics from Station 47 responded to a home in an unincorporated area of Pinellas County. Thomas Maxwell reportedly was suffering cardiac arrest. His lips were blue. He was cold. But I was doing CPR and my friend was there and she was doing chest compressions, said the daughter. His chest was going up and down and he was making noises, so his lungs were working. When the medics arrived, she said they quickly checked her dad's wrist for a pulse and told them he was dead.
There's never been anything like this.
I'm like, he's still breathing, she said. He's like, no, ma'am, he's gone. Those are just his body releasing gases. That's a quote. No, ma'am, he's gone. Those are just his body releasing gases. After the medics left, a Pinellas County Sheriff's deputy went to the home to investigate the death and noticed what? He was still breathing.
That's not fake. That's real.
Upon notification of this incident, this is the way it went in a statement, an official statement. Upon notification of this incident, we immediately removed both fire medics from their normal duties.
Yes.
And discontinued their abilities to provide patient care. Yeah, it seems like a solid
of the time, it works every time.
Way to take your work, people.
Yeah. About 28 minutes went by between the initial call and the medics arriving, if you're just curious. And as of this report, as of this Friday Fabulous Florida report,
yeah,
the woman says her dad is still in intensive care and was seeking a speech therapist for slowed speech, but he's very much alive.
Wow.
A Florida man and his accomplice steal $1,400 in merchandise from Dollar General.
Oh.
They stuffed the items in their shorts.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
I have the same question you do. How do you fit $1,400 worth of stuff from Dollar General in your shorts? It happened in Cape Coral. There is a picture on YouTube. You can see the picture of the guy's shorts stuffed with $1,400 worth of merchandise.
That doesn't look suspicious at all. No.
Well, he's a bigger guy. Maybe he thought it would be lost in it. He doesn't wear even baggy clothes that would disguise all of that. You know what I mean?
And white is the wrong color for that.
Yeah, he really didn't think
you have to go dark clothing so people don't see the bumps and ridges, right?
Yeah, this is a bad.
Fake. That's real.
Bad caper. You know what I'm saying? Just from a caper planning standpoint, I feel like they should have worked through lunch on this one.
We could have done so much better.
Yeah. Anyway, they're busted. $1,400 worth of stuff. A Florida man confesses to killing roommate after the cops find a foot poking out of a shallow grave. Well, that's sweet.
Gross.
You gotta
Brian
dig a little deeper,
Marquez.
Mark. Right? If you're gonna if you're gonna do something like that, just a couple. It'll take just like an extra hour.
Yeah, it's
Joe Box and Little Anthony.
It does feel Joe Box adjacent. Maybe you farm this one out to Mo Black's
brother, Fat Andy.
That's what I wanted to say. A man in Florida confessed to killing his roommate after police responded to the home and found a bloody, shallow grave with a human foot poking out of it. There's just no pride in grave digging anymore. I mean, the guy does such a poor job that there's a foot still sitting out of it. Police in Fort Pierce responded to a home in the town of Fort Pierce last Sunday. Witnesses said they saw blood and what appeared to be a shallow grave in the backyard. When they arrived, cops say they found a foot was partially exposed in a hole that was 18 inches deep.
Again, I would say no pride of work there.
No, exactly.
I mean, you clearly need some more burial assistance if you leave body parts emerging from the ground.
It's just like sloppy work. Exactly.
Right. Shoddy workmanship.
Protocols and standards.
Yeah, we have processes, protocols, and standards. I don't know why we can't. He's 22, Brian Marquez, as I mentioned.
I mean, if you're going to do something, do it right. As I tell my kids, don't half-ass it. Right?
No, when your kids.
No, good morning.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. When your kids dig their shallow graves, you know that they'll be done right. Is that, kind of...
There you go. That's right.
That's what you're telling us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was booked in, as you might imagine, for Moto 1.
Yeah.
Florida woman convicted. She's convicted for stealing thousands of dollars. And this is the tried and true, oft-repeated scam. This woman, again, convicted for stealing the thousands from cystic fibrosis patients.
Oh.
Cystic fibrosis is a brutal disease. I used to be active in a couple of charities. Anyway, the effort to raise money for it and to help cystic fibrosis afflicted patients is usually surrounded by people who are pure of heart, but not this person. The U.S. Justice Department found Elizabeth Jenna Suarez, 34, guilty of stealing money from Piper's Angels Foundation. It's a nonprofit that supports people with the disease and their families. She stole the money in a scheme that she executed from 2018 to 2019. She was married to the foundation's executive director, and using her copy of the nonprofit's corporate credit card, she spent money meant for the charity on herself.
What?
The jury convicted her.
Yeah.
And her sentencing is scheduled for April. Yeah. Seems pretty...
Good day, sir.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be... I don't think they'll be lenient with her necessarily. And finally... Oh, this is the ad, the roll-in ad. I'm thinking, what is that? That's the roll-in ad. Florida's invasive Jesus Christ lizard could be harmful to people and the environment. Why is
Jesus Christ lizard?
Why is it called the Jesus Christ lizard? You want to know? I'm going to tell you. This lizard has the appearance of walking on water. It's actually running across the water. It's still a pretty cool thing, running or walking. But because of that, they named it the Jesus Christ lizard.
Okay.
So the creature is native to Mexico, Central America, and South America. And they're now living in the wild in South and Central Florida because people have brought them as pets.
Look at them walking along the water there. Look at that.
Yeah, they've escaped and been released. It's the same reason that the monkeys are there. It's the same reason that the dragons, those is it the Komodo dragons?
Mm-hmm.
There. Anyway, they tend to live along freshwater canals, and they are carnivores, and they feed on insects, including invasive mosquitoes, which also bite the lizards. There is ongoing research on the potential for them to be hosts for these mosquito-borne diseases. So there's a possible human health impact to these Jesus Christ lizards. They also may be eating native butterflies and native lizards, which could negatively impact the Florida environment. There are a lot of problems with the Jesus Christ lizard. It does run across the water. As Kim said, it's kind of wild to see. And they have these oversized feet, and that allows them to make this passage across the water. But they say that biologists are going to watch this, but again, this Jesus Christ lizard, as it's called, could be harmful to both people and the environment in the ways in which I mentioned. So with that, my friends, I want to conclude this edition of Friday Fabulous Florida.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.
I don't like to do it, and it's not easy to do it, but we must do it. We must choose a favorite. You in the chat who are watching live, you are watching in replay. Please indicate now your favorite. Do it now before you listen to us discuss it. If you're watching in replay, put in your comments what would have been your favorite, and let me remind you of what the favorites are. Yes, thank you. The Florida woman who pulls the loaded gun on the McDonald's worker over the free cookies. The Florida man found breathing after medics declared him dead. A Florida dude and his accomplice stealing $1,400 in merchandise from the Dollar General store by stuffing the items in their shorts. The Florida man confessing to killing the roommate after the cops find the roommate's foot poking out of a shallow grave. A Florida woman convicted of stealing thousands meant for cystic fibrosis patients. And finally, the invasive Jesus Christ lizard in Florida that could pose a threat to both the environment and to people. We need a favorite. It's like choosing between children, but we must choose. And
there's also a poll that's up right now, and there are already 73 votes. So keep on voting, people.
All right, keep on voting. We will mention our favorites. And I know these are stories that involve some pretty nasty things. Murder and shooting and pulling a gun and stealing. But these are the things that make up the competition for today. So I ask you, your favorite, Kim McAllister.
I would say cookie because it's really rather Florida-esque. But I can't get over the picture of the shorts full of merchandise. So I think I'm going dollar store general theft.
Wow. Dollar store general from Kim. She likes the pictures of the guys with all that stuff packed into their shorts. How about you, Albert?
I think the McDonald's one is pretty obvious, but I kind of like Florida man taking care of Florida man, which is the paramedics taking care of the guy who presumably died. So I think that one's my favorite.
You're saying, can we get some medics from my dad who just had a heart attack? Can we get some medics here that aren't from Florida? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it's Florida man taking care of Florida man. So it's not the best option.
That's really strong. I will quickly read what's in the chat just so people who are listening, some of them listen on podcasts.
Yeah, and I didn't include the dollar store general one, so there was a lot of write-in votes for that one. I'm guessing that would have gotten second place.
Okay. Leading in the voting online in YouTube is what, Albert?
The McDonald's gun cookie. It's a
McDonald's gun
already
cookie,
has
right.
half of the votes.
Yeah. The Dollar General getting a lot of love. Cookie Monster, Short Stuffer, Cookie. This is a hard choice. Free Cookie.
It was a hard choice.
Dead Man Found Breathing. Dollar General. Dead Man Found Breathing.
They're very strong stories.
Very Florida.
Say it again.
Grave.
Shallow Grave.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't have proper. I was thinking about it. Maybe he didn't have the proper equipment. Maybe he was trying to dig it up.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe dig it up with a machete or something like that.
Yeah, you're saying, to be fair, he may have dug it in like a hurry without really thinking through the proper equipment required to dig the grave to bury the guy he murdered?
Yeah, probably. To his defense, there's no.
Yeah,
defense,
that's
but.
very good of you to think that through that way, Albert. I'm going to go with. I'm sorry, I can't get past it. I know it's the obvious choice, but arguing over McDonald's cookie is so Florida, being so jacked up on whatever the hell she's jacked up on, that you pull a gun, which is also Florida, and that you not only pull the gun, but you get out of the car. Remember, she was in the drive-up window. She gets out of the car and runs into the store, and actually, I mean, all over a free cookie. That to me, yeah.
She still got the cookie as well.
I know, and they gave her the cookie early on, way before she pulled the gun. You know, it was just, it's so Florida. So anyway.
I mean, you wonder what was said at the time the cookie was given to make her fly off the handle. Was it something like, here's your free cookie, bitch? Like, what was it that pushed her to the edge of violence?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. He does seem to have really been energized by
Straight up right in, no problem.
Yeah, here you go. Straight up right in, no problem. All right, Albert, give me the final count. It's a walk, the monster cookie situation.
Yeah, almost half of the votes, 48%, and the rest of the percentages don't matter. It was the clear favorite, the McDonald's gun cookie.
McDonald's gun cookie, and the Dollar General did get a lot of write-ins, so might have been a comfortable second, as Albert says. When we come back, we'll talk to Michael Shore. The Ukraine war 1 year in. I also want to talk about the Trump deposition green light that was given by a judge just yesterday. There's a lot going on. And I will touch on the bomb train again and Buttigieg's visit to the people of East Palestine and sort of the recharacterization by the Trump people, the last administration that rolled back those regulations on the brakes. I mean, this is as I've told you early on in this story, a story with all the layers of everything wrong in America. Not literally everything wrong. There's more wrong than this story. But I mean, if you look at layer after layer, you go, oh, wow, that's the problem with the system right there. That this could happen, and then that could happen, and then that this could happen. So we'll get into that and certainly touch on it as well. Smash the like button.
Friday, Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
I didn't run the close. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I remember back in my early days at KGO, you did that a couple of times. You said, Albert, if I do it, just still play it. So that was me still playing it.
So I didn't run it, is what you're telling me.
No, you did not.
Albert, thank you.
Wow. I think I'm just losing it, man. I thought I did run it. But I didn't. Kim, did I not run it?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Gosh, I really lost it because I thought I ran it. I'm really sorry, Albert. Thank you. But that's why you're there.
That's not fake. That's real.
No. Okay.
But we love you.
But Albert will have to cut that up and cut out my T's so that the close is there or whatever. Good luck, Albert. That'll be fun. All right, Michael Shore and Michael Snyder in the next hour. Thanks for being here. Smash it like a boss
with your iron rod.
Damn it. Give us a thumbs up if you are watching in replay. Show us a little love. Mark Thompson Show.
The Mark Thompson Show.
On the Mark Thompson Show, I'm Kim McAllister. This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. Just got this picture sent in from John. He says, hey, I took this picture yesterday in Salinas. This is the Gabilan Mountains between Salinas and Hollister. I love the picture of the palm trees with the snowy mountains in the back. That is awesome. John, thank you for that picture of the weather in your area. If you would like to send me a picture of what the snow you're seeing in your area or interesting weather phenomena, you can always email me at kimmcallister@gmail.com. You'll find the address up back in the chat. I think I posted it twice so far. But the Santa Rosa Fire Department is urging people to stay off the roadways unless they absolutely need to drive. By the way, Speaking of Sonoma County, this is a light dusting of snow on Sonoma Mountain. These are the mountains near Petaluma, so some dusting of snow there as well. And again, don't drive unless you need to. This warning issued in Santa Rosa last night follows days of heavy rain and snow in some lower lying areas of Sonoma County. About 1.5 inches of snow fell in Cloverdale yesterday. Aside from that area, the snow expected to fall at elevations above 1,500 feet. There were reports of downed trees all over the place, wind gusts 45 to 55 miles an hour. The storm also brought thunder and lightning to parts of the Bay Area last night as well. Some of the firefighting water runoff from the Ohio train derailment is already at a toxic disposal site now outside of Houston. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo said about 500,000 gallons of toxic waste arrived at Texas Molecular more than a week ago. Hidalgo expressing frustration that she and other local leaders received very little previous information about that incoming waste material in their area. Looks like this is just turning into a multi-state deal. The Pentagon is now looking into a leak that exposed emails and unclassified data publicly online for almost 2 weeks. That's no bueno. A Pentagon spokesperson said yesterday the Defense Department's chief information officer and the U.S. military cyber command are investigating the root cause of the accident. They're also looking at why this problem wasn't detected any sooner. They'll leave all that information wide open on the internet for 2 weeks. One of the major events in the 2024 presidential election cycle will take place in the fine city of Milwaukee. And there is a picture of it. This will be the Republican National Committee making the decision yesterday to hold the party's first primary debate in the city, where it will also hold the Republican National Convention next year. This, according to the New York Times.
There's never been anything like this.
Former President Trump, along with former UN Ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, are the only major GOP candidates to have officially entered the race thus far.
I think I'm the most honest human being, perhaps, that God ever created.
Yeah, he's going to Milwaukee. Look at that.
I'd love to just see Trump tear Nikki Haley to pieces. I mean, it's a cage match with those two, and with whoever ends up on stage in the GOP side, if Trump's there, I think he'll just tear them to pieces. Trump's a, to use the phrase, junkyard dog kind of guy, right? He doesn't,
Do you think it will be,
rules of debate.
I know he did it to Hillary Clinton, tried to tear her down. But do you think a Republican like Nikki Haley, who is of his same party, who may have support from some of the people that, also like him, that it will be harder for him to face a woman and kind of beat her down like that?
No, I don't. In fact, he tore the living daylights out of everybody on stage when it was so many people on stage. It looked like an introduction to a football team. And the GOP raised the initial race in 2016. And he tore, you'll report, it was at Calif Arena. Gender does not matter. He will savage everybody on stage, and he'll do it in the most personal and low-ranked ways, but he'll do it, and it's effective. And his supporters and certain members of the public, those looking in, actually enjoy and even applaud the sort of they would call it frank, honest, and sort of across the fence way that Trump, or across the wall way that Trump approaches these things. I think, in other words, I think he's actually rooted on in some of the ways that he attacks these people. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think some people do seem to like it. Yeah. I mean, things that would have considered to be so offensive and unpresidential were somehow tolerated. So I think people were applauding the meanness and getting behind it. Yeah. This is Oakland Police Chief Leron Armstrong. Pardon me. He is officially appealing his termination. LeRon Armstrong made it official yesterday, a week after being fired by Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao. She defended that decision hours before, saying we have to change course and be able to move forward in a way where we can actually address cultural issues. Armstrong was put on leave last month over how he handled alleged misconduct by one of his sergeants, possibly closing an investigation of misconduct a little too early. The search is on for whoever stole money from a money courier in San Francisco. 2 employees of a security service say they were robbed yesterday. They told police they stepped out of their car briefly near 5th and Market. When they returned, a door was open and at least one bag of cash missing. No word on how much was inside or any information on a possible suspect. Police are urging anyone with a tip to call in. Why would you leave money in a car in San Francisco?
Wow, that is really wild. I mean, at this point, right?
It kind of smacks of an inside job. I mean, you know better to leave money in a car in the city. Come on.
You'd think.
I'm telling you.
Right.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
It really pretty much is. Don't we have signs all over the city saying don't leave stuff here?
If you like it, don't leave it in your car. Right. Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's what the sign should say. I love it.
If you like it, don't leave it in your car. Right. Exactly. I want to be this guy. This is Jeff. Jeff is a Disney super fan. He made the Guinness World Record by visiting the California theme park just under 3,000 times in a row. Boy, you gotta love Disneyland. I'm telling you. Yeah. Jeff Reitz started the idea as a joke in 2012, visiting Disneyland daily for over 8 years. Now that's a commitment. That's a guy who's not half-assing it. I'll tell you. The park makes the 50-year-old an honorary citizen after his first year of visits. According to TMZ, Reitz became known around Disneyland. Cast members even wanted to take photos with him. He hoped to actually reach the 3,000 mark, but he was cut short in 2020 when the park closed due to COVID. But now he's got it. He's just under 3,000 times in a row is what he's made the Guinness World Record for.
Wow, that's
a fan. Yeah.
The people who are way into Disney, that is kind of a lifestyle. I mean, they're there all the time. They attend special events. Disney takes care of them with special events. So, that's a dedicated community. It's a dedicated community.
I mean, just ask yourself though, 3,000
community here, Kim.
See, Mark Thompson super fan. Just under 3,000 times in a row. Do you not have a job? Like, he must be.
He might have done well. He might be, honestly.
Wealthy. Yeah.
Or wealthy enough. You don't have to be wealthy, but you could be wealthy enough. This is what I like to do. It gives me pleasure.
You have to be wealthy to go to Disneyland one day. Are you kidding me?
That's true. You're right.
I mean, it's, we go for maybe 4 days. Well, we used to. Haven't since the KGO layoffs, but it's about, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 to go to Disneyland, and the food and everything. That's expensive. And he went just under 3,000 days in a row.
Yeah. That's extraordinary. That
guy's funding Disneyland.
I've never heard of something like that.
Yeah, I know. It is pretty insane. Yeah.
But he's joyful. Look at him there. Woohoo.
Yeah. He's a record holder,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we've never seen anything like it before.
Exactly. It's pretty unprecedented. I got to get
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Okay. No, exactly. We've never seen
Jeff. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
This report sponsored.
Okay. All right.
This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, give Steve a call. He's at 888-TAX-DEAL and MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Mark Thompson Show.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Smash it with your iron rod.
Who's Mark Thompson?
Hey, which one of you is Mark Thompson?
What he's got going here is a situation.
It's unbelievably offensive.
Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants.
Ralph Nader just sent me a book. Did he send you one too?
I offer this sincere apology to you today.
Everything is going extremely well.
Call me a liar. Know what you call him? You, sir, are a liar.
You are a cover-up artist, and you are a liar.
Liar, your pants are on fire!
Google told me.
Can you let him finish, sir?
It was wrong, it was stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
No.
I'm going to tell you what I think.
What are the porn stars doing?
Do you have a secret now?
Doesn't anybody better weed?
100% effective. How about that?
Say what?
And this is their new host.
There is no defense for my conduct.
I misspoke. I stand corrected.
And I wanted to apologize to the Asian community, the Asian American community.
Time's up, mother effers.
What up? Welcome to the last hour of the week. The 11 to noon hour is our last hour here on the show. Monday, I'm headed to Washington, D.C. to see my dad, and probably Monday and Tuesday, Kim will be running things here. And please give her the same level of disinterest that you give me. I would like to mention a story before I kind of look back on some of the things that happened this week that was just pushed to us in the chat. And I must tell you, did you have this in your news, or did you come across it and consider it? Kim, this is the dude who is suing the lottery. He is claiming that he had a little over $2 billion Powerball winning ticket.
What? No, I didn't have this.
But it was stolen.
What?
Saying. Yes. And now he is suing the lottery to try to recover some of that money.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
It's not the lottery's fault that you did not hold on to your ticket.
Well,
it is
Judge
not the
McCallum,
lottery's fault that your ticket was stolen. I'm sorry. You have to sign the back of it the minute you get it and put it in a safe place. And if you failed to do that, it's only your own fault, sir.
It was stolen the same day he had the winning ticket purchased.
Uh-huh.
Remember, it was in Altadena, just outside of Los Angeles.
Right.
He said it was stolen the same day. The guy's lawsuit, he's only identifying himself as Reggie in the suit.
Reggie.
I'm sorry. The lawsuit says a man who's identified as Reggie stole the ticket. Okay, so it's not Reggie who was the guy. It was Reggie who stole the ticket. He did not explain the details of the alleged theft. Rivera, who is the guy, Jose Rivera is the guy's name, who's bringing the suit, claimed that the man told him that even if he won, he would only return it on the condition that he split the prize 50-50.
No.
He also said that he refused to be blackmailed, reporting the alleged crime to law enforcement officials and to the California Lottery and demanding an investigation. The lawsuit names Edwin Castro, who was identified as the winner, and Reggie as separate defendants, but does not detail how they were involved. Rivera is asking for damages and to be declared the winner of the Powerball in California.
Wow.
Which is $2 billion. The California Lottery is saying, dude, we're not authorized to do some investigation. I mean, that's the world. So it is now in the courts. But the lottery's only role, they say, is to assist in investigations, provide evidence allowed under the law if an investigation is ongoing, but they don't do investigations themselves.
What a mess.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that. Tesla SF gave me that story.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Now put it together for Steve Moskowitz, everybody. Yeah. That time of year, ramping up.
Oh, I like the shirt today.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm going out to an Italian restaurant tonight, and I thought I would match the tablecloth.
I wonder how many people, as we get into the home stretch for taxes, really are aware, to the degree that they need to be, of the kind of government programs that you've laid out for them in broad detail. But we mention it over and over and over again. There is a pot of gold in this world of taxes and dealing with the government and in business. And you have mentioned all the ways it can be missed, even though it's talked about.
You know, Mark, my whole career, I have always heard that from people. When I'll tell them something, they're in absolute shock. And when did that happen? Was that a new law announced today? And a lot of these things have been around for a long time. And here it is. You know, tempus fugit, time is flying. Next week is March. And for corporations, the due date is not April 15th, it's March 15th. So the bottom line is everybody knows me for the fancy stuff in tax, and people are in trouble that they can't pay their taxes, or the ERC that you were talking about, the pot of gold. But we do regular tax returns too. Remember, before I was a tax attorney, I was a CPA. That's what we founded the firm on. But we don't do them in the regular way. The reason I became a tax attorney was I looked at the giant corporations, and I worked for a firm whose clients were the Fortune 500. And it boggled me how much money those companies made and legally didn't pay taxes on it. And that's why I went to law school to learn how to do that. And I said, that must be available for companies a lot smaller than Fortune 500. And it is. But if you don't know about it, it's like if there's the Hope Diamond located on the third branch of a tree that you walk past every day, you'll walk past that tree every day and never reach up and take the Hope Diamond. And that's what we want to do for you. Let us show you the difference of what we can do if we do your return.
I think that's actually a really great parallel, because I think you just get used to a certain rhythm, a certain way in which your business files taxes and gets returns done and gets certain deductions that you get every year. They may be modified year to year in some modest way. But as you say, the diamond that is there, you don't see, because everything is just so rote at that point. I really think a call to Steve Moskowitz would serve you well. 888-TAX-DEAL is his number, 888-TAX-DEAL. Also, knock around on his website, moskowitzllp.com, and you can click a contact tab there and send him an email, and they'll get right back to you. 888-TAX-DEAL, 888-TAX-DEAL. Again, the other place is Moskowitz online. It's moskowitzllp.com. Steve, great talking to you. Have a great week.
Okay, have fun at the restaurant. Woohoo!
The Mark Thompson Show.
I have an update for Michael Shore. He'll be here any minute now.
Oh, how about that? Very well done, Albert. Michael Shore to arrive any moment.
Albert, thank you.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for him, can I show you some more pictures?
Yes, please. These
okay,
are
because
we're getting from listeners and viewers all across California, and there is snow falling to very low elevations. Go ahead.
So Nancy has a cabin in Fiddletown and in Amador County, and she sent us pictures about how she decorated for Christmas. So we had pictures from her before, and now she's sending us pictures of the snow at her cabin in Fiddletown. There's one. We've got more. Really, really cool.
That is, again, these are like wintry scenes from New England or something.
It's beautiful. There's another one. And I have one more. Just really beautiful shots. Peaceful as well. You can kind of hear the quiet in the picture, I think.
Well, Fiddletown exactly is that, right? Isn't it a quiet place?
I would hope so.
I mean, it's it's not far from Sacramento, I guess, right?
In that direction. It's in Amador County.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing the snow you're seeing, because the elevation is such that, you're getting it into the foothills. But it's absolutely stunning. I mean, really, that is gorgeous. You can see
photos were taken yesterday. And she says, Mark, I love listening to your show every day.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I am in love with these pics, and it looks like a pretty nice, pretty terrific life there in Fiddletown. Why is it called Fiddletown?
I have not done my Fiddletown research.
Well,
Maybe it's where you go to fiddle and stuff.
Yeah. I will do it now.
You gonna find out?
It seems like hang on a second.
Nancy, I want to play and frolic in your yard. That looks amazing.
Yeah. Why is it called Fiddletown? I can't seem to find it. Someone send it to me. Send me the answer.
Are you kidding
At the
me?
Mark Thompson Show at gmail.com, and I will pass it on. Are you okay, Kim?
Yeah, it just shocks me that you can't find anything on Fiddletown. I'm telling you.
Well, that's just the way it is. All right. Moving on.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Sadly, it's late, but always love him. Better late than never. He is the magnificent one. He's forgotten more about politics than most of us will ever know. Michael Shore, everyone.
Hey, apologies to you and to Kim for my tardiness today.
Fine. We're just glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too, and I'm sorry, and no one wants to hear the tales of my woe, so I won't share.
Well, you say that, although I mean 30 to 45 seconds of the tales of your woes.
Now I want to know. Stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
I really, I'm here to talk about politics. I'm
All
here
right, good. Well, so let me get on to it.
The story is not good. Neither of you are missing anything.
Okay.
Well,
I believe that.
I'm sorry.
Is it snowing where you are?
He actually had a story that was good. Is it? I don't think it's not snowing where you are, is it, Michael?
No, it's not. You would know if there was a good story. I promise you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Michael really would be like straight with us about that. He would say, okay, Yeah. All right, look, it's been a year. We're fighting a proxy war in Ukraine. There is continued articulated support for Ukraine. It's articulated by the president going there. It's articulated by the weapons and humanitarian support. The monies are substantial with a capital S. Assess this situation for me and for us, and also if you can, because this is just so much your area, the political aspects of this, the sharp edges politically for continuing for now the second year in Ukraine.
You know, the militaristic, obviously, analysis is not what I would be counting on me for. I do think that you're seeing a president, an American president, speaking forcefully in a way that he had not before. As a matter of fact, even his relationship with Zelensky at the outset was looked at as questionable, Biden and Zelensky. And then as things have moved forward and he is saying things like, we will not cede an inch of NATO, you're hearing very powerful words from a president on the world stage, a place where they're paying more attention to this issue than they are here domestically is Europe, and how the president's support for Ukraine, for NATO, in an extended way for the EU is playing out. And I think that it puts a lot of those leaders on alert that they're going to have to now start stepping up, and they're being asked questions about their participation over there. What it does also do, and this it goes against what my belief was more forcefully, but remains, is that President Biden's not running. Well, this flies in the face of that belief of Biden, is that he will run again, and he's turning himself into a de facto wartime president by doing this, which is always an advantage when you're running for president. And it's a bigger advantage when you're not sending troops in, right? When you're sending money and not troops, it's a different conversation. So Biden is taking control of this in a way that I don't think anyone had been anticipating. And, you know, a 10-hour train ride into what is, in fact, a very, very important part of his presidency now.
Have you ever taken a 10-hour train ride, Michael?
I have, yes. I've taken long,
yeah.
But never into a war zone, and never to meet a world leader.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's something to shoot for. I do think that you put an interesting, you cast an interesting light on it as a way to signal, in effect, that he will likely run again, which seems clear. The reason you say that is, were he not going to run again, what would happen? You don't think he'd make that trip? Is that what you're kind of saying?
I don't know. I don't know that he would or wouldn't have. I don't know what the negative is here. I think the positive is that by doing it, he is signaling, I'm in charge, and I am going to forge an American and an international foreign policy. And that means I'm sticking around. And that's what I'm taking into my campaign. And, people are going to say, well, he should have gone to Ohio. And perhaps he should have gone to Ohio as a president. Maybe he will. He sent his transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, there. And people are going to, at home are not going to pay as much attention. The dollars are getting a lot of attention, but I think this is saying that I'm a strong president. And look, his numbers are bearing that out, and the reaction to his move there in polls, if you can believe polls, and I'm not sure that we can entirely believe polls, but his polls have gone up.
I want to, because you mentioned Ohio, let's just touch on that story. I was feeling as though, and I made this point on the air, I don't think I made it to you, but I was feeling as though his magic power is, I think, Biden's legit heart. Like, I don't think he's a phony when it comes to feeling the grief and feeling the pain of so many who have been involved in any number of things where the president's called upon to, visit the site of some tragedy or whatever. In this case, this is this catastrophe that's occurred, and I thought he missed a chance to really show that thing, which is that he really cares about Americans, even those who are in red states or whatever it might be. But I made that point to David K. Johnston. He said, no, you know what? Presidents being there, it gets in the way of everything. They're in the middle of a cleanup. I think both are true, actually, as I reflected on it. But I'm wondering your thoughts. You mentioned the fact that Buttigieg is there. But it's a different kind of thing. And Trump has gone, and of course, he has none of those aspects of a pure heart or sense of others, or really caring about a community that Biden or even Buttigieg might.
No, and also, as people have pointed out, is that a lot of the policies that maybe, I wouldn't say caused what happened to happen in Ohio, but certainly have were there to make sure that those things didn't happen, and when they did, and if they did, to sort of remediate that as much as they could. A lot of that money was gutted in the last administration, but I'm also not putting any of this fault or blame. I mean, this was a rail accident that was maybe bound to happen, and it did happen. I think what David K. Johnston said is true. It's also convenient to say that. We always say it, and presidents who don't want to go places say, I'll just get in the way. I'm going to wait and go down there later. When natural disasters hit, you often will see presidents and vice presidents on the ground immediately or in the few days after that. This is typically the kind of thing that the NTSB goes in and addresses and cleans up immediately and gets its answers. A president may go in to say, all right, we're rebuilding here, and we are giving this amount of money here, and we're dedicating this there. But as soon as you're criticized for not going, it's often time to go, even if you shouldn't have gone in the first place. And I think that's what Biden's dealing with now. And I think what Ukraine has become is a distraction from that. And, that's why being president is so hard. You have different problems every single day. And so many people who are president do those things well or not well at all, and become sort of hyper-focused, blinders on certain issues. I think that's what sort of held, for example, we talk a lot about Jimmy Carter now. It held the Carter administration was the 52nd hostage in Iran, because it couldn't do anything. It was so hyper-focused on that by necessity and also by choice. I don't think that's the case with Biden. I think he would have liked to have gone. I think he probably will go once there's some good news to bring to that area. And I think the politics of it will simmer. I don't think we're going to be talking, unless Pete Buttigieg runs for president one day, I don't think we're going to be talking about Ohio in a big way presidentially in the next election.
Right. It's not not relevant from that standpoint.
Not for the president, yeah.
I did want to just follow quickly. Sorry, but I just wanted to mention the fact that, because Buttigieg did make a point of it, and I thought it was a good one. How I feel about this accident. I think it exposes so much of what's wrong in terms of, shining on environmental regulations, shining on engineering regulations. When it comes to the railroads, it's the way that the legislation has been bought and paid for. We've talked about it here with Michael. Buttigieg had a chance, though, to visit that. And kind of make those points again, that the regulations on the brakes, for example, were rolled back. They were put into effect during Obama's administration, rolled back during the Trump administration as part of his, getting government off your back, getting regulations reversed. But the ownership of the railroads and the chemical companies of our government, I think that's being exposed a bit in all of this.
Well, it is, and that's kind of what people should be talking about. That doesn't mean that's what the people in East Palestine, Ohio, want to hear.
Oh, sure, right.
And they want the best version of Biden to come in and say, "We're going to take care of this. We're going to make sure we're looking after you. We're going to make sure this doesn't happen again, and we're going to take care of what happened." That moment may be gone until they actually go in and say, "This is what we're doing to take care of you now that you've had to suffer this over the past month or whatever it is." Whenever he does go. And that's a problem Democrats have, right? Going in, casting blame, painting pictures of what is wrong and why, the environment. When people went into after Katrina, the people that were talking about global warming, that's not who the people in Louisiana, Mississippi wanted to hear from. They wanted to hear from here are your cots, here are your blankets, here are your checks, here are your temporary homes, etc. So there's a time for that, but it wasn't then. And so that's why I think the moment for Biden to have gone was earlier. It may not have been, it clearly wasn't. It was a choice for them not to go in because they do let the people do their work. There will be a time for the president to go in and bring some good news to that area. And then also talk about it legislatively. You're going to have the transportation committees in both houses of Congress probably look into this. And that's where the progress is made. That's not what the people in Ohio want to hear right now.
Did you have something, Kim? I'm sorry. Anything?
No, I was just going to mention today, of course, marks 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. And the announcement came from the White House today, or U.S. Treasury, that they are cracking down on quite a few individuals and what they call entities, and I'm not sure if that's businesses or not, that they feel have been helping Russia in this endeavor to, crush Ukraine. So apparently this is both Russian and third-party actors across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East supporting the war effort. They've got 22 individuals, 83 entities that are now they're putting sanctions on.
Yeah, and that's sort of how, if you remember at the beginning, they were doing it with the wealthy yacht owners and seizing properties and things like that. Entities are generally shell companies made up and started by a lot of those oligarchs in Russia and now outside of Russia that create business to help Russia. And that's why crippling them was seen as the best way to get at Putin, who seems resolute, and to go after these people, because once they don't support Putin, he has no place to go. Now, getting that done, obviously very difficult and above my pay grade. But this is a continuation of that original strategy, which I think played well publicly, but also I think, put Putin on alert that, people are going to be going after the money and where it comes from. If you want to exist in this sort of oligarchical world, you should do it without bombing Ukraine and just go back to how it was before, because that's a big source of his power.
The final thing I just want to mention to you, Michael Shore, is related to the former president. Just yesterday, a U.S. judge is ordering former President Trump to be questioned. This is in a pair of lawsuits against the Justice Department and the FBI by two former people working for the FBI. They say they were the targets of an improper political pressure campaign by his White House. Essentially, they were wrongfully terminated. That's one of the things they're suing for.
Yeah.
U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson deciding that FBI Director Christopher Wray also must sit for a deposition by attorneys for Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. They're the two that were among a group of FBI employees that exchanged text messages, you'll remember, critical of Trump during the 2016 campaign. And they were also involved in investigating Trump for Russia ties, but they were also involved in looking at the Hillary Clinton email situation. They were FBI agents.
Yeah.
So,
but they were FBI agents that Republicans glommed onto because they weren't, they seemed rogue because of this, and they seemed partisan. So they were defamed left and right by both the White House, by official Washington and unofficial, Trump world, MAGA world, and that's why they're bringing lawsuit because they didn't feel they were properly defended by the Justice Department for doing their jobs, in spite of the fact that they, were not Trump partisans.
Indeed. The lawsuit claims that Strzok, for example, was fired for speech protected under the U.S. Constitution, and he's seeking reinstatement, back pay, and unspecified monetary damages. Page is seeking at least $1,000 in damages. It seems as though maybe Page is doing this for reasons to make a point. It's a real interesting question, and I leave you with the interesting question, Michael. I wonder if you could just weigh in on this. Yeah. Should FBI agents and their communications, aren't they, as FBI agents, allowed to say, wow, I hate this guy, whomever it might be, a public official, boss, whatever? Can't they say this in private messages? Or the minute they do that, are they running afoul of some investigation? Has the purity of their work been compromised in some way, and should they be sacked?
I think that we have human beings doing these jobs, and in an era of extraordinary partisanship, which is living above board rather than below board. These are the questions we have to answer, and they're most profound when it comes to the Secret Service. And a lot of the investigations that have found Secret Service members, and the Biden administration has been suspect of this, who were partisan to Donald Trump, who are serving this White House, and what kind of, take a bullet for the president mentality that has always existed in that organization. Where does that stand now? It's the same thing, I think, in the Justice Department, when you have people who are partisan in one way or another doing the job that they need to do objectively. I as a reporter who can report objectively and in a partisan way, you just have to turn it on when you need to turn it on. It doesn't mean, I can say, Donald, this was a good thing for the Trump administration, and not like Donald Trump as a reporter. Well, I think it's the same thing. Is you're an FBI agent, you're looking for wrongdoing or investigating people that deserve investigation. Your partisanship has to be left aside, and I think that's what we entrust most public officials to try and do. And again, it's imperfect, but so are we. And I do see why Strzok and Page are irate over what happened. But you can also see the other side too, when you see people talking about how much they don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's just when you talk about people's personal communications, and people are saying they were in a romantic relationship, gossiping more or less, said Maud. Yeah,
I agree, but I see why it would look bad. If I was a big partisan for Trump, I would say, God, look at these people. I would do the exact same.
Anyway, Trump will be deposed. They say
right
2 hours of questions. Yeah,
he should
put that on the list of depositions he has to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Michael, thank you for hanging out with us.
There's never been anything like this.
Anyway, you can find him on social media at Michael Shore, SHURE. See you, Michael Shore. Thank you.
Nice night.
Bye-bye, man. Yeah. Right.
It's nice of him to hop on with us. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Let's get right to it. He joins us on Fridays. He's someone who watches music and movies and television, and he comes and goes on a rainbow. The culture blaster is Michael Snyder, everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, huzzah! Huzzah! It is me. I am here. Well, I'm here, wherever that is. But, guys, this past Tuesday was Mardi Gras in New Orleans, the last blowout of Carnival season. And I love NOLA, and I try being there for the big Carnival celebration whenever I can. It wasn't going to happen this year, but Mardi Gras, or Fat Tuesday, is, of course, followed by Ash Wednesday, which for Catholics is the beginning of the 40-day Lenten period of sacrifice that ends at Easter. And Mark, despite being a godless heathen, I'm actually giving up something dear to me for Lent.
What's that?
Sarcasm. I'm giving up sarcasm.
No way. You can't do it.
I'm done with it.
No.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Sorry.
Your presentation. You can't give that up.
No, I can't.
Courtney and I saw a movie, Kim, that Michael had recommended last night.
What was it?
We saw Armageddon. What is it, Michael?
Armageddon Time. That's the title of a song by The Clash, but it actually makes a lot of sense in the context of the movie.
Was it an artsy kind of fartsy movie?
No, it's the work of James Gray, the guy who did The Yards and The Immigrant, and we reviewed it here on the Mark Thompson Show. Kim, thanks for listening.
Yeah, I would say it was interesting. It was provocative. It was good. I liked it. Yeah. So I remembered it got a good review from you. That's why I wanted to jump on.
It was great. I loved it.
It was a message movie. There was a message there at the end. I wanted to try to figure it out. Anyway, I liked it. Yeah.
Well,
I really Triangle of Sadness. What is it called? Is that what it is?
The Triangle of Sadness. We talked about that last week. Armageddon Time is a period piece about growing up in the New York area, Jewish in the late 70s, early 80s. And it's, it's a contrast in some ways to Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. I think it's a better movie than The Fabelmans, but,
Fabelmans.
Hey, fight me, people. What can I say? Speaking of fighting, I do want to say before we get into the movies, Bay Area rock and roll lifer, singer, guitarist, songwriter, and peace activist Alex Carlin of the theatrical Carlin family, including ACT theater luminaries Joy Carlin, his mom, and Nancy Carlin, his sister,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And my buddy Nick. Alex is a world traveler known for bringing the rock and roll gospel to Poland, Russia, and other Eastern European locales after a long run as a member of the legendary raucous new wave band Psychotic Pineapple, as well as a stint with the Rubinoos. And right now, he's back in the Bay Area to front a gig by a gathering of peers tonight, performing as Alex Carlin and the Heavy Friends at Baltic Kiss, which is in Port Point, Richmond. The Friends will include performers from the Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, some of his buddies from Psychotic Pineapple. John Rubin, lead singer of the Rubinoos, is going to be there. And I just wanted to point out one thing I think that's really cool. Alex was enshrined in the Guinness Book of World Records, having played, this is the truth, the longest concert by a solo artist, 32 hours straight or high, at the pub Bourbon Street in Radomsko, Poland, from June 20th to 21st in 2009. He's also the subject of the documentary Alex in Russia Land, a recent film festival favorite, about his escapades.
My lunch that there's alcohol involved.
His escapades playing in the former USSR. That's tonight. Alex Carlin and Heavy Friends, and that's over at Baltic Kiss in Point Richmond. So anyway,
Pineapple is the name of the band.
His original band, Psychotic Pineapple. Yes.
Yeah. They're an East Bay band, weren't they? They came out of the East Bay.
They were indeed Berkeley kids, and very talented and peers of the Rubinoos. So anyway, if you're interested in that sort of thing, and how could you not be? Check out Alex. Look, it's not a banner.
He's a culture blaster. Michael knows these the Psychotic Pineapple band.
I do like Psychotic Pineapple. That is a great band name.
It's a great band name.
One of my favorite songs of theirs is a song that goes, "I wanna get rid of you."
Wow, that's great.
Anyway. It's not a banner weekend for new movies. Mediocrity is afoot. Still, it's not a total disaster. When I first saw the trailer for the new movie Cocaine Bear, I was like, take my money. And I get into movies for free. It was so jammed with quick pace, near slapstick violence as the, shall we call the titular bear went on a bonkers rampage for the length of the trailer that I actually laughed out loud. But that was just a couple minutes. The full-length movie comes in at an hour and a half, but it turns out that the manic energy of the trailer is a bit harder to sustain for 90 minutes. So let me make one thing crystal clear. I was entertained by watching Cocaine Bear. By the way, get it? Crystal? Cocaine? It's a half-assed drug joke.
Yeah.
My God.
No.
like much of the movie Cocaine Bear. Anyway, that said, there's no denying the fun and laughs as a mama black bear in a wilderness park sticks her nose into brick after brick of high-grade cocaine that had been dumped out of a plane by a drug smuggler. So loaded and loving it, the bear goes on a rampage, attacking any unfortunate humans she runs across in her coked-up ramblings.
Man.
There is a certain thrill to seeing who will become Bear Chow among the various characters in this horror comedy that was, get ready, Mark, based on an actual set of events, albeit fictionalized.
I love it. I love it.
Let's say this is a little amped up. Anyway, directed by actress filmmaker Elizabeth Banks of Pitch Perfect and The Hunger Games renown, Cocaine Bear may be about surviving deadly circumstances like The Hunger Games, but it features no a cappella singing by wholesome college kids, although I'd love to see the cast of Pitch Perfect dropped in that forest and running for their lives from that not-so-cute Bearsy-Wearsy.
While they break into song?
It would be great. The actors are good ones who are happily slumming here. They include Kerry Russell from The Americans, Alden Ehrenreich from Solo, the great Margot Martindale, who is ripping it up right now in Your Honor on Paramount Plus and Showtime. Ray Liotta in what might have been his final on-screen performance. Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and others. The bear, whether it's CGI or a practical model, is believable and fearsome, and the action is well directed. If only the script wasn't so humdrum. I mean, the dialogue could have been much funnier. No luck there. Anyone who sees this will just have to be satisfied with the gonzo premise, the unhinged bear on the hunt, and the will they or won't they get eaten tension. Anyway, it's in theaters, but as a Universal film, I expect it'll light up the ratings when it gets to Peacock, NBC Universal streaming service. A little bit of a disappointment, but, you know, as B movies go, I had fun.
Michael, they're not going to kill the bear in this movie, are they?
Mark? No spoilers. I'm so very sorry.
Okay. I'm very concerned about the death of the bear already. All right.
Well,
I'm going to get into the movie just to root for the bear.
Hey, listen, man. Something about
as the kids say.
Something about mortality is definitely in the air this weekend. If Casper had died a middle-aged man, you know, the friendly ghost, he'd be the seemingly friendly title ghost of We Have a Ghost, a new release that opened in select theaters a week ago and is premiering on Netflix today. There are lots of talented folks in the cast. The effects are pretty good, and the story is nice-ish with messages implied and overt about tolerance and doing the right thing, even if the actual movie is a little perfunctory. And considering what's implied by that title, We Have a Ghost, it's kind of unscary. Let's just say if you're looking for The Haunting of Hill House, search elsewhere on the Netflix menu. We Have a Ghost, written and directed by Christopher Landon, introduces the Presley family. No, not those Presleys. A failure-plagued dad, a conciliatory mom, and two teenage sons, Fulton, with a smirk, swagger, and a snarky streak, and Kevin, who is kind and creatively inclined. They move into a rundown house in a Midwestern town and discover the place is haunted by a ghost who appears to be named Ernest. Younger son Kevin befriends the ghost, whose fashion sense includes a bowling shirt and a comb-over. He's played sympathetically by David Harbour of Stranger Things and Black Widow. In short order, the other family members learn of the ghost, and ultimately, they seem a little matter-of-fact about it, which is a bit of a different spin on hauntings as I recollect them. But the circumstances of the ghost's life and death, they are the heart of a mystery that Kevin and the girl next door try to solve. Meanwhile, it's 2023. Kevin's video of the ghost goes viral thanks to his older brother Fulton, and Dad decides to exploit the online frenzy for profit. There is talent here. Besides Harbour, Anthony Mackie plays Dad. Jahid Diallo Winston is quite appealing as Kevin. Tig Notaro, wonderful comedian, plays a scientist who's an expert on the paranormal and has ties to the CIA. And the omnipresent Jennifer Coolidge is here. Where does she find the time? She plays a television spiritualist, psychic medium type. We Have a Ghost is okay as light family entertainment about the supernatural, but it's no Ghostbusters. In fact, Ernest is the only specter on board here. Maybe Gozer and Zool or even Casper would have spiced things up a little bit. Mark, I'm not going to boo. I'm not going to boo. Anyway.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
The conciliatory is definitely a ding word, and perfunctory, I'm told you said. I didn't catch it, but that's a ding word too.
Maybe. Anyway, it's
a more or less good review for We Have a Ghost.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's inoffensive. It's diverting. It's family entertainment. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the new movie 3-Day Millionaire. The title of 3-Day Millionaire, a would-be mix of comedy and heist film, refers to the mad money party attitude embraced by fishermen on their weekend breaks. Trawlermen, if you will, and best buddies Curly and Budgie have docked in their seaside hometown, the UK port of Grimsby, where the fishing industry has long been the area's primary industry. But Mr. Barr, the wealthy man who controls the local fishing industry, is affixing to sell out to developers and close down his entire operation, throwing scores of people out of work. One of Barr's right-hand men convinces Curly, Budgie, and another of their friends to pull off a caper that will enable them to start their own business. Despite a promising beginning, some likable, high-spirited young actors and actresses, and the presence of the reliable, evergreen Irish character actor Colm Meaney, love the guy, playing Mr. Barr, rather. I keep thinking of Bart Simpson for some reason. He's so full of mischief. Anyway, 3-Day Millionaire is pretty weak tea that seems pieced together from other better movies. Although I had high hopes for this, there are tone shifts and fuzzy motivations, and the characters they have this naive approach to the caper just didn't ring true for me. Also, as a comedy in such a picturesque setting, the whole thing seemed a little whimsy challenged. This Millionaire is a well-meaning enterprise, but like Bitcoin, I wouldn't invest too much in it. It's on video on demand and various streaming platforms, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and such.
Wow. Didn't really love 3-Day Millionaire.
Not really, no.
What else do you have for us, Michael Snyder?
I got a movie I can recommend unequivocally, and that's really great in such a
go ahead. Yes,
mediocre landscape here this weekend. In Return to Seoul, Frederic Freddie Benoit, a smart, smug 25-year-old South Korean-born woman who was adopted and raised in France, visits the country of her birth for the first time since she was a small child. While in Seoul, Freddie, who at first is a bit of a Debbie Downer emo girl, she experiences culture clash as a French citizen, but she begins a search for her biological parents, which changes her perspective in a variety of ways. What transpires is definitely no fairy tale reunion. Instead, it's a tough and tender and realistic portrait of someone coming to grips with unfamiliar roots and a sometimes daunting problematic background, and the growing pains that result from the process. Fledgling actress Jimin Park is a genuine revelation as the constantly evolving Freddie, especially as she comes to a greater understanding of Korean life and over time gets with the rhythms of soul. This was written and directed by Davy Chow and percolating with a very cool soundtrack. Return to Seoul is a trip worth taking, and it's in theaters as of last week.
Wow. He likes Return to Seoul, everybody.
I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you found something, and as you say, sort of a weak field to recommend for this weekend. Return to Seoul. So again, Return to Seoul is in theaters.
Yes.
Okay. So to review, Return to Seoul, he liked. It sounds like maybe of all the likes along the way, it may be the strongest. 3-Day Millionaire on demand for video wherever you want to get it. He's not.
Yeah, I had high hopes, buddy. I had high hopes.
It missed for Michael Snyder. It is a VOD again. We Have a Ghost, the David Harbour movie with Tig Notaro and Anthony Mackie and Jennifer Coolidge. He thinks it's diverting, is his word. Michael likes the word diverting, meaning kind of a enjoyable endeavor, but it's not a movie that he recommends with great passion or emotion at all.
Mark, when I use that word, it's damning with faint praise.
And Cocaine Bear, the thin premise where a bear gets into a bunch of cocaine, can't stop getting into the cocaine. There's so much getting into it going on through the entire movie. And the cocaine revs the bear up. The bear's a threat to Ray Liotta. It was his last film. For a B movie, Michael Snyder says yes on this one. Cocaine Bear isn't bad, is what he said.
Yeah, weak script, but anyway. Listen, quick out here.
Yes, sir.
On the streaming TV series front, Hello Tomorrow at Apple TV Plus is very intriguing. It's kind of a retro futurist thing set in an imaginary 50s where actor Billy Crudup's character is selling timeshares on the moon with fellow timeshare salespeople, one of whom was played by Hank Azaria. And it's pretty, it's drawn me in. It's pretty fascinating. And I love the art direction, and I love, the kind of retro future robotics and things that are going on. And the question is, if you have these kind of robots and stuff, is this timeshare on the moon thing legit? What's going on? So I've been drawn in. I've only watched the first couple episodes, and there are more to go. They dropped episode 4 today. So if this sounds intriguing to you, and Apple TV is pretty bold, it did a variety of things so far that's kind of put it on the map, including Ted Lasso. And it's actually I'm caught up in it. We'll see how it goes.
Hello Tomorrow, it's called. Cool. Yeah. I guess that's it. Did you have anything else to mention on the way out? We're a little late.
No, the Dubs are faltering, and I'm excited that the Giants season is going to begin. We'll leave these other sports behind. Bring on baseball.
Yes, you can find him hanging out on Polk Street there at the Royal Ground. And you can also find him knocking around the city as he jams out his column in the Marina Times. You can find him here on Fridays. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye, Michael.
Bye, guys.
All right. Well, we have to wrap up. Kim's got to host the show over at
The Mark Thompson Show.
Kim is hosting for Nikki today. She'll be here soloing on Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And how about a quick shout out to some people who are helping with the crowdfunding today? Come on.
Big shout out.
Big shout out to Walter. Aloha, Walter. Thank you very much for that $5, pal. Appreciate that. $5 for the weekend. How about a 10 spot from John Anderson?
Big shout out.
John Anderson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, John. You handsome devil. Karen Combs. Come on, Karen Combs.
Karen.
Thank you so much, Karen Combs. $9.99 super sticker. Appreciate you so much, my love.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Vilma. What up, Vilma?
Oh,
Vilma had a comment early in the end. She's always a supporter. Thank you. $9.99. Thank you, Vilma. And Karen Q also. Look forward to Friday Fabulous Florida all week. Thanks for bringing
me too, Karen.
Week. Yes, me too. I do love it. Love you all. Love you back.
Well, that's
not
right.
Gonna cry,
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
But there's been a lot of love today. And that does make me
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
well up.
Does your heart feel big? You got that little knot in your throat. You feeling okay? You gonna be all right?
Luis, for $9.99, you were all sunshine on a rainy day. Oh, yeah. Thanks for always being fabulous. Today is a good day for a warm, high-quality Mark Thompson, a hoodie. Ain't it true?
That's right.
Ain't it true? You can get the hoodies online. They're at getmarkmerch.com. They make them when you order them, which is kind of cool, too.
And
like
$40-ish. They're in the 40 range.
I know.
Right?
They're really priced too low.
Crazy.
Get them before they jack that price up. But thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I will head back to see my dad, and then we will do shows from Washington. But in the meantime, Kim will host the show Monday and Tuesday. There are some great things coming for David K. Johnson on Tuesday. Both of you have Spencer Christian coming in on Monday, other guests as well. So it's going to be a pretty big week. And what's coming up next on Nikki's show? Have you put that together yet?
I stole him. I stole Jefferson Graham. We're going to talk about snow pictures. I've also got Clark Reed talking tech, and I have Tim Sika's movie reviews. It's going to be a great Nikki Maduro show. So come join us.
I hope Nikki has fun down in Southern California with the rain down there. It's an odd time to be in the studios, but I'm sure the birthday warmth and sunshine of a birthday will keep them going. Thank you all who support us. Until
for the Mark Thompson Show. Bye-bye.
Until next week. Have a good weekend.
Safe travels.